Hello, everyone. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Devin Mulville, and I am your Scholars 5th grade math and science teacher. Please make sure to not only watch my curriculum night video, but also Miss Kuntz, as she has different information in regards to ELA, which is our reading and writing, and social studies. If you ever need to contact me directly, email is the best, so you can see my email below. And again, if you have specific questions about math and science, make sure you contact me. If you have specific questions about ELA and social studies, make sure to contact Ms. Kuntz. All right, so a little bit about me. So I graduated from Michigan State University with a degree in elementary education. I have teaching minors in math and geography. I also went back to Michigan State a few years ago to get my master's degree in literacy and language with a specialization in reading. So I also have a reading specialist certification. So I like to think I'm pretty well-rounded in regards to education. I love to play sports and watch sports, especially watching my Spartans play on Saturday nights for both football and I guess throughout the whole season for basketball as well. I love going to Disney and being out on the beach. I also love to venture to zoos and aquariums to see all different kinds of living things. And yeah, so that's a little bit about me. If anybody is heading to the golf outing on Monday, you'll see me there with a lot of my family members, which you can see up in the corner. I know my dad and one of my brothers are golfing with me and a lot of cousins too. So I'm looking forward to hopefully seeing some of you there. All right, so one of the things we use in 5th grade is a platform called Seesaw. So in a short way of saying it, it's basically an online digital portfolio. So it's a way that scholars can keep track of what they've done from the beginning of the year all the way to the end of the year. Sometimes they'll be doing specific assignments in class, like maybe they will take a picture of a writing piece they've done in ELA and read it, so that way that you guys at home can see them, because a lot of people don't come into the school much anymore. So this is a great way for you to keep up with what your scholar is doing. You might see how-to videos of them creating how to multiply numbers together, or maybe you'll see different kinds of pictures of what we are doing in class. Like if we are doing a science experiment, I'll walk around and try to take some pictures so you can see and talk to your scholars about what they did that day. Seesaw is a great conversation starter for around the dinner table or on that drive home. Scholars also have editing capabilities, so if they make a mistake somewhere, they can always go in and edit their work, which I will be showing them that over the next few weeks, how to go about doing that. My suggestion is turn on your notifications, which when you log on to Seesaw, that will be in your settings, so that when your scholar does upload a new video or assignment of any sort, or if I'm posting pictures, or if you get a notification from my newsletters that I send on Sunday, that will be something that happens right away. Seesaw also allows you to message me directly. So if this is something you need me to see right away, you can use the messaging feature in Seesaw to send me a message, and it goes directly to my phone. So especially this is good for different emergencies. Again, I mentioned this a little bit ago, but the newsletter I will send every Sunday morning. What's really cool about this newsletter is I send it in a PowerPoint format, but I also record myself reading through the newsletter. So all you got to do is press play, and you can listen to me talk about what we did this week, any announcements for the coming week. So while you're washing the dishes, while you're folding laundry, while you're out walking the dog, whatever you're doing, you can still listen while it's kind of like a mini podcast almost with the newsletter for 5th grade. And that is something that I do for the entire 5th grade. So you receive one newsletter from me and Miss Kuntz. Okay, for you to be able to connect to your Scholars Journal, some of you already are because you've used Seesaw in the past. So if you used Seesaw at all last year, you're already connected to your Scholars Journal. So go on and make sure that you can see it. If this is something that's new for you, what you'll do is we will click on this link here, and that will take you directly to our class. Let's see if it's going to pop up here. It's loading. There we go. So I will send you this link in the email if you haven't seen it already. You basically click on your student's name wherever it may be, and you will just say, yep, I want to sign up. If you already have an account, then you can sign in that way. If you need to make a new family account, because this is brand new for you, you'll click that and go through all those steps. So just kind of showing you a little bit about that. Let me jump back to my presentation here. Here we go. All right, something that's really unique in our classroom is we have a classroom Twitter. So if you are on Twitter, feel free to follow us. We're at Mulville Tweets, or if you type in Mulville fifth graders, you can see that. Every day, our teacher assistant, which is one of the jobs in our classroom, sends out a tweet letting the world know what we have done that day. It's a cool way for us to be able to connect to other people and other classrooms outside of just our own. And it's a great way of learning or teaching students from an early age how to be a good digital citizen, how to be appropriate online, how to speak well online, and making sure we're leaving a positive digital footprint. This is something that we discussed this past week when we talked about how to use technology. Again, you can also check our Twitter as a great conversation starter for around the dinner table or even on that drive home. All right, so let's go over some fifth grade basics. So first things first, students are welcome into our classroom at 8 o'clock. They come through in our exterior door. I know some people are starting to sneak around and go through the hallway by the gym. Please come through our exterior doors. Class starts promptly at 8:15, so make sure your scholar is here ready to go in their seat at 8:15 because we start marking tardies by 8:20. So it's really important that they are here on time. Also, make sure your scholar has a planner. I think there's a couple people in class that still are missing theirs. This is something we complete daily. We write down what we've accomplished in our classes, and if there's any assignments that are due or any projects that they need to complete, they will write them in their planners. Again, this is also a great conversation starter. Are you seeing a theme here? We want you to talk to your scholars about what they're doing in fifth grade. Have those conversations. Okay, here in Kingsbury and the elementary years, we do not have homework every night. Once those scholars get to middle school, though, which is next year, they potentially could have homework more often. So we want to make sure that scholars are still doing something at home, and those things are very simple. Read. We want them to read every single night. And Ms. Kuntz will talk more about her 40 book challenge, which is something they are challenged to do to help encourage them to read every single night. But if scholars are not finishing their work in class, you might see some of that come home that they need to finish. If they are absent, they also will have some work that they'll need to complete as well. So if your scholar is missing a day or two in a row, please check in with them to see if they have any missing work from when they were absent. Also, there might be different extended learning opportunities throughout the year. So for example, sometime next week, you'll probably see a moon phase calendar come home where I have scholars check out the moon every single night and just color in what it looks like. That's not something we can do during the school day. So sometimes things that can't get done at school, we ask you to help out at home. Or it might be, I want you to research the animal at home and then bring that research into school and we will do the project in class. These are extended opportunities. Learning opportunities do not happen too often. But please, again, check in with your scholar to always see if there's anything they need to do. And again, conversation starters. All right, so what can you expect your scholar to learn in math this year? So the first thing we're actually working on right now is multi-digit multiplication. So we're reviewing how to multiply something like 32 times 57. It's really, really important that our scholars are very quick with their basic math facts. So 8 times 7, 6 times 5, 3 times 2. So if this is something you see your scholars having a hard time with, have them practice at home. We are practicing almost every single day, if not multiple times a day here in class by playing different games. So if you see that's something that your scholar can work on, that's another quick thing you can do at home that will help them become really, really successful in our math class this year. Scholars will also learn more about place value. We really get into decimals. It's something they touch on in fourth grade, but in fifth grade, it's something that we focus a lot on. We focus on writing decimals, reading them, adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing them. We also focus more on division. So we do multi-digit division. So we'll start by doing something like 387 divided by 7, but eventually it will become 387 divided by 17. So our numbers get a little bit bigger when they come to fifth grade. Scholars also focus a lot on fractions, so multiplying, dividing, adding, subtracting them, both big fractions, small fractions, improper fractions. all different types. And we spend a lot of time in fractions during the middle of our year. Scholars also learn a little bit about volume and review some geometry terms, and they also focus on measurement too. You can see in some of the pictures, we do a lot of fun ways to apply our math skills. So up at the top, when we talked about adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing fractions, we bring baking in to the classroom and cooking, because that is something that we use fractions with on an everyday basis. Below that, you can see a seesaw assignment that scholars did, so you can see what they're doing again here at school. And then at the bottom, you can see we do a decimal diner. So we use decimals every day when we are going to restaurants, because if something costs some type of dollars and some type of cents, those are decimals. So it's really important to me that your scholars see how math is used outside of just our classroom. If you're also looking for other ways that your scholar can practice some math skills, we use a couple different websites here in school that if you want to use them at home, you can. One of them is Prodigy. Scholars love going on this because it's a very game-like website that they are practicing skills. And then something that's new for us this year is we're using something called Happy Numbers. That is something that's going to teach your scholars step by step how to do different problems as well. So that one focuses a lot on teaching the different types of skills we're working on. In science, we basically have 5 big units during our year. The first one is solar system, which we will be starting up next week. Right now in class, we're focusing on the scientific method and reviewing those before jumping into our first unit. So scholars are going to be learning about stars and the moon phases and what causes the seasons and all the different things in our solar system. They're also going to be looking at organisms and energy. So that's things like food webs and decomposers and how all those things interact with one another. Scholars also learn about matter, so think molecules, physical, chemical changes, the Earth's spheres, so how the atmosphere interacts with the hydrosphere, which interacts with the biosphere, and then probably their favorite unit of the year, which is our last one, which is our engineering unit. So we do a lot of building and going through the engineering cycle, and you can see in one of the pictures above there, the thing that they create is called a marble raceway. So they create basically a roller coaster out of paper and tape. They absolutely love it. We do a ton of different experiments and labs, like dissecting owl pellets, working with oobleck, and we talk about how s'mores connect to physical and chemical changes. So science is a lot of fun in 5th grade. Okay, so the other big part of 5th grade is we have an end of year project. Right now, we're calling it the end of year passion project, and that's just because we don't have a specific name for it yet. This was formerly known as exhibition. So any parents that have been around Kingsbury for the past few years may have heard of exhibition, which is basically a giant research project. Scholars get placed into groups and they find a topic or a problem that's going on in the world and they research it. They talk to experts about it. They take action on it. And we will do something like this still at Kingsbury, even though we're not a PYP school anymore. We still find it really important that our 5th graders are going through the research process and presenting their projects to an audience. So this is kind of the end of the year elementary project. We will be having this presentation or this event sometime in mid to late April. We'll let you know specific dates once we get there. This will also be our grandparents or special persons day. So let your family members know, or those special people know, that sometime in mid to late April, they'll have an opportunity to come to the school and see their scholars presenting their amazing research projects. All right, the other thing I want to touch on today is just want to remind you that our scholars are outside all the time doing outdoor learning. So there's some items you probably want to make sure they have in their locker, specifically sweatpants they can quickly throw over their shorts, especially with these fall months. Some days are super hot, some days are super cold. If we're going out in the woods, if they can throw on some pants really quick so that they're not getting eaten by bugs or the ticks aren't jumping on them or scratched up, that's really a great idea. Sweatshirts and light jackets, mud boots are things you want to make sure your scholar has in their locker. Also, some optional things you might consider is having bug spray. As I mentioned in a previous email, the mosquitoes are pretty bad this year with the amount of rain that we have received. So bug spray is something they might want to keep around. Sunscreen, especially in those super sunny days, and maybe back again in the spring. We'll have sunscreen conversations again. And then also a raincoat or poncho, because there will be times where we're heading outside, and if it's drizzling, we're still going outside. So your scholar needs to be prepared for any type of weather. We'll have a conversation like this again, probably in the winter. Okay, so what questions do you have for me? If you have any questions at all, do me a favor and just email me directly. Again, if they're math and science related, you need to email me. If you have questions in regards to ELA and social studies, please make sure to contact Ms. Kuntz. She will be able to answer those better than I can. Also, if you're looking for a way to kind of donate or help out our 5th grade classroom, we have a 5th grade Amazon wish list. Again, you will see that link is attached to these presentations. So feel free to jump on there if you feel free or if you feel like you would like to help out our 5th grade classroom. All right. If you have any other questions or anything like that, please send Ms. Kuntz or I an email. Otherwise, we look forward to having an awesome year this year.